Hey guys, today you're going to be watching this video that I'm making for you so that by the end of the period you can answer the essential question: what are the three types of space rocks and how would you compare their characteristics? Another way to answer that question would be, what is the difference between, and here are the three types of space rocks: asteroids, comets, and meteors, both based on their characteristics, but also based on where they exist in space. So this is a picture of an asteroid, this is a picture of a comet, and this is a meteor. Specifically, this is called a meteorite, one of the largest meteorites that we have found on Earth. So what I'm going to do for you now is I'm going to play a short video for you. You can pause the video as it's going through so that you can complete the movie notes on IP 31 so that you can answer the questions about asteroids, comets, and meteors. So I hope you have your science notebooks ready. Here we go.
Our dear planet Earth is in the hotbed of cosmic activity this year. Let's recap some recent news. A meteor explodes over Russia, an asteroid barely missed crashing into Earth, and later this year, we will see a comet in the skies that will shine brighter than a full moon. Asteroids, comets, meteors. Ever wonder about the difference among those three celestial bodies? Asteroids are usually made from space debris like rock, although some are comprised of nickel or iron. The bodies range in size from a boulder to hundreds of miles in diameter. They orbit around the sun. Some asteroids have struck the Earth in the past, but most don't survive passing through our planet's atmosphere. Comets are essentially space equivalent to snowballs. Unlike the asteroids that are mostly found in the inner part of the solar system, comets begin their life outside the solar system. The cosmic balls consist of frozen gases, dust, and rock. Measuring the size of a quaint town, comets' temperatures increase when their orbit brings them close to the sun, resulting in the spewing of gas and dust, which creates a glowing head along with a tail that sprawls away from the sun for millions of miles. Meteors are mistakenly referred to as shooting stars, but they are actually comprised of dust grains or rocks. They are generally smaller than the asteroids. When they get near Earth's gravitational pull, they are sucked into the atmosphere and descend downwards. They usually burn up before hitting the ground, but often let off a flash of light. Sometimes they are big enough to make it to Earth and are then known as meteorites.
So once again, if you needed to pause or go back and watch that video again so that you can answer the movie notes in your science notebook, you can do that. But if once you finish that part, then you can turn it over to the bottom where you're going to be taking a few additional notes on asteroids, which is where we're going to start. So here's some notes that you need to know about an asteroid. An asteroid is nothing but a big rock that's floating around in outer space. An asteroid is a rocky object that has an irregular shape and orbits the sun. This part you guys already know. Most of the asteroids line up between Mars and Jupiter, and the asteroid belt is what separates the inner planets from the outer planets. So on your notes, you're going to take these notes and draw a picture of an asteroid. Moving on to what a comet is. A comet is an icy rock that's surrounded with gas and dust that orbits around the sun. A lot of people call comets dirty snowballs because that's exactly what they are. They're gas and dust, but they're frozen in ice. So what happens with these comets when they're orbiting around the sun is there's this wind that comes off of the sun. We call it solar wind. The solar wind blows on the comet and it pushes that gas and dust away, and that's what makes it look like it has a tail. The solar wind from the sun blows on the comet, pushes the gas away, making a tail, which means that the tail of the comet is always pointing away from the sun. Here's what you need to know about meteors. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but there is no such thing as a shooting star. If you ever look up into the night sky and you see what you think is a shooting star, it's not a star. If any star actually fell into our atmosphere, we would burn up and die. We'd be in a whole lot of trouble. If you ever see anything that's glowing, looking like it's falling from the sky, it's actually probably a meteor. A meteor is a piece of rock that when it enters our Earth's atmosphere, it starts to burn up because it comes in contact with all of the gas and dust in our atmosphere. And that's why it looks like a glowing, falling object. So as it falls, it becomes hot enough to glow, and people often mistake these for falling stars. But here's another name for a meteor. Usually meteors, when they're small, they burn up and they never hit the ground. But if a meteor is big enough to hit the Earth's surface and it survives part of it being burned away, if it hits the ground, then we call it a meteorite. So the difference between a meteor and a meteorite is that a meteor is a rock that's falling to Earth, and a meteorite is the same rock that once it has hit Earth's surface, we call it a meteorite. In Arizona, this is a crater that has been created from a huge meteorite that hit the ground, and I wanted to show this to you as well. I looked up large meteorites, and the largest meteorite that has ever been found is in Africa, in Namibia. This is the site of what we call the Hoba meteorite, and it is absolutely massive. When people first found it in 1929, this is how big it was. Now, this is a rock that mostly burned up as it entered Earth's atmosphere, so imagine how big that meteorite had to be in order to still be this big once it hit the Earth. Well, there it is. That's the basic gist of the difference between an asteroid, a comet, and a meteor. Hope you got all your notes done and you can start working on your homework. So let's turn to OP31 and let me explain your homework assignment. On OP31, you're going to make these quadrants. Title OP31 Space Rocks Quadrants. Number all your quadrants. So the first thing you do is divide it into 4 boxes, just like you did yesterday. Number quadrant 1 is right here. Quadrant 2, Quadrant 3, and Quadrant 4. Please use Roman numerals. Quadrant 1 will be titled Asteroid, Quadrant 2 Comet, Quadrant 3 Meteor, Quadrant 4 Meteorite. Here's how you do the space rocks quadrants. This comes from OP Option 1, Quadrants, on IP 6 in your science notebook. So you'll number each quadrant, title each quadrant, write a descriptive explanation for each term, draw and color a picture for each term. So there's your homework today. I hope you got your classwork and your homework done.